Welcome to Board Game Homies, where a group of friends play, review, and share about all things board games. Sitting around the table today are
Reed, Becky,
Gillian,
and I am Angela. Today we discuss our adventure to the Pacific Coast, aka we went on vacation and now we're just gonna brag about it. Guys, what a delightful time we had on the Pacific Oregonian coast where we maybe didn't go outside. This is our second time going to the coast. What'd you guys think about visiting inside? We spend about 5 days on the coast. It takes a lot of pre-planning, and by that, a lot of panicking a few days before. I would like to think that we learned something from the last time we went to the coast. I'm not sure if that's correct. So for those out there, how do you plan a magical vacation with your friends where you just play board games?
It definitely starts with a shared Google document that only one person looks at when everyone is packing.
Yeah, and everybody makes their lists in different documents or on their personal documents. It doesn't share it with anybody, and then it's chaos at the last minute.
I made the document and never looked at it again.
Yeah, I know. It's a good document.
I don't know. I just kept texting what I was doing, and then somebody would ask, and I would be like, I changed it. Here's what it is now.
The document didn't work very well on my phone, so then I was like, I'm just going to text you all the games that I'm bringing.
Multiple times.
Well, sometimes it changed.
Yeah.
And then it was like a list that was, 20 long, and you're like, these are just the light games I'm bringing.
Yeah, Reed, your list ballooned up. I've made the mistake of bringing way too many games to the coast, and this year I was like, I am only bringing the one bag of games. And I felt really good about that. And you were like, here's my 9 bags of games I'm bringing.
I brought one small box-ish bag and one very heavy games of heavier games. And, sometimes you want to have that option of what to play. I'm not saying I wanted to play all of them, but what if we're in the mood for King Domino? And I didn't bring it. I would be sad.
Like bringing Castles of Burgundy last year. Oh, wait, you didn't bring Castles of Burgundy. It's the one game we wanted to play. And then it didn't happen.
Well, it made it into my bag this time.
Yeah, it did.
I like having too many games versus not enough games, but I do think we could still bring less games overall.
I feel like I like to bring just a single bag of games because I rarely get my games played, I feel like. And I'm happy enough to play other people's games at the coast.
But I did talk Gillian into a second bag.
Yeah, and then we played 2 of our games.
I wanted to play more. I just wasn't the keeper of the rules. Not keeper. I didn't.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to respond.
I didn't take charge.
I do think that actually was a really important reasoning of how I decided what games to bring or not bring. I think we were all really, really excited to play games we hadn't played before. We had this New Year, New Us challenge going on. And we wanted to kind of, I felt like there was a general vibe of we're going to get a lot of these games played. But the other side of that is learning the rules. So I said very early on, Reed, I'm going to learn the rules to Shackleton Base. That is my one commitment to this weekend. And then everything else I brought, I didn't super want to learn the rules for. So I just brought games I felt pseudo-comfortable either playing or reading up on. And I read those rules. Suckers.
I will say all the games I packed that I wanted to bring are ones that I learned the rules for. There are a lot of lighter games, so it wasn't that big of a hurdle. But then Becky's like, I want to bring Nucleum. And I'm like, we haven't played Nucleum in a long time. It's going to require rules relearn. And then it never happened.
I was going to say, I'm sure that game got played. No, it definitely did not.
Rude.
Well, rules teaching is a lot of work. And while it brings me joy, I did get a lot of joy reading the Shackleton Base rules, it's it's a barrier to entry. And when you have 5 days of game playing, there's a lot more excitement. It's what is it? When your stomach is bigger than your eyes. No, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. You're like, ooh, I'm going to eat all this food. And then your tum-tum goes, no, thank you.
I do agree. There were quite a few times where there were several people reading rule books around the house, which was kind of fun. I also think we could maybe take advantage of the TVs and watch a few more rules teaches. Maybe rules teach. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Becky. Becky short circuiting over here.
Yeah, I kind of am.
I smell the burned wire.
We just need to watch more Rodney. Like, we need to specifically pick some Rodney games.
I'm just saying, Rodney, I don't think did a video for Nucleum. Or did he? I don't actually know.
I don't know.
See, that's the problem right there.
Gillian's
Becky.
correction corner coming up. There is also another side of packing for the coast. So it's 5 days. We rent a house on the coast. And the biggest thing when we pick this house is it has to have a very big table to play. And we've booked this place before, so we already knew what we were getting ourselves into and what the accoutrements were and what the table was like. But there is this other piece, which is what foods do you bring? How did you guys feel like that went for what we decided to eat?
So, in the document that
nobody looked at, yeah, keep circling back.
No one looked at except for when Reed made it, and then me putting notes in there. We did have a planning gathering where we got together and we talked about what our meals were going to be and kind of loosely what people are going to bring, which I did write in the document for me, I guess. But so we had a mix of home cooked meals and also lots and lots of snacks.
Yeah, I liked that we pre-planned most breakfast and dinners, and then Reed was like, I'm going to take care of snacks and lunchy stuffs. And so it was really great to not cook every single meal and to be able to pilfer through the fridge.
I do think I would still prefer to do less cooking, even though I want to eat home cooked meals. It's hard. I think I want to do more like one pan dump and bake kind of things.
I know, it was kind of a harsh in the nog there when I was like, I'm ready to play Shackleton Base. Come on, let's play. And then you were like, no, we're waiting to get the roast in. And I was like, oh. So Reed and I played a 2-player game of Revive instead.
Well, okay, I'm jelly of that. But also, to be fair, Angela did more cooking. And so how did you feel about it, Angela?
I was good, but I agree. There's a lot of prep. So like breakfast, I pre-made all of the pancake mix, but then I still had to mix the pancakes and then make them, and they take a little bit of time. But also I love pancakes, so I'm not sad about it. But I agree. Like when I made chicken and orzo for dinner, I was like, oh, I wish I had a crock pot meal or something that I could just throw in while we played. And I think that's the balance of like wanting really delicious meals so you're not just eating takeout every single night, but also being like, oh, I could be playing games right now. I also didn't mind the breaks. Like I went running or on a walk every single morning, which is my normal routine. And so I didn't want to only be playing games the entire time. I wanted to make sure my step count got over 1,000 steps. So I was actually kind of fine with it, with the balance, but I agree. Like, if we did more one-pan meals, we would also have less dishes.
I did not have a lot of time to deal with food prep, so I just did grocery shopping and got snacks, and that was way easier for me than thinking through bringing a full meal. So highly endorse it, but we can't all do that, I guess.
No, it was great. We ate so much cheese.
We did eat a lot of cheese.
We didn't eat enough cheese. We didn't pull it out until like day 2 or day 3.
I think it was like the last day. It was like Saturday.
Yeah, it was not enough cheese.
Yeah, we ate a lot of leftovers.
I actually was I'm sorry, I'm disagreeing with you again. I feel like we could have done better eating more leftovers. We all packed leftovers to bring home. Well, maybe not Reed.
She had so many snacks.
Well,
to bring
yeah,
home.
that's true. I mean, a lot of leftover snacks.
We're off the rails.
Hey, we're right on them rails. But we'll jump in. So Wednesday, the Airbnb doesn't let us in till 5, so most of us ended up working that day and then driving to the coast, which is about 2 hours away. Reed was really nice. I got to drive up with Reed, and then Becky and Gillian were on their way. We bring our dogs, but my girlfriend couldn't come up until later, so she brought the dog later. We fended for ourselves for dinner, but immediately we got in on that Wednesday and broke out a game of Castles of Burgundy, an old favorite.
The peasant favorite.
Hey, it got played. It got to the table and got played, and we did it.
By peasant favorite, I mean the old version with the very dry art.
The Ravensburger original.
Yeah. Yep.
I hate that edition.
I really I appreciate the printing on the player mat essentially that shows you what all the tiles do. I appreciate that. I like that version of the game. It makes it very usable.
I hate that version. But I also wasn't willing this time to bring the giant box. So thank you, Reed, for bringing the version I hate. It's not the version I normally play on BGA. And so anytime somebody selects that original version, I go, ah.
Wait, you prefer the 20th anniversary edition over the old one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I love the illustrations on that version. And
on the 20th anniversary one?
No, on the one that I have.
Oh, yeah.
Whichever the peasantiest of peasants that I bought used for $20, and it has gotten so much price per play. It's amazing.
It is also very transportable. That is a nice version. I like it for that reason.
One of the things I would suggest, if you ever, because there are 3 editions of Castles of Burgundy, there's the original, then the 20th anniversary. For some reason, it only gets worse, either image-wise or component-wise. They were like, 20th anniversary, it's more expensive and worse. And then there's the really expensive version that they released. But if you have the version Reed has, some things would be helpful. So one, get an organizer. So Reed's rocking a Arc Nova organizer that I didn't need anymore. But also I heard somebody talking about how you can get just tile bags that are in the most recent version. And that would be super helpful because then cleanup and setup is actually even easier than the tile component holder.
And I will say this is my first time playing Castles. It was my first time playing Castles of Burgundy in quite some time. I don't play BGA, as folks who listen to the pod know at this point. And so I don't get in many games of Castles of Burgundy year to year. And so it was fun to play it again. And it's been fun to watch Reed's play evolve from hating mines to going after mines and failing to do so in the process.
Think you all cut me off from the mines. I don't even remember, but I did not have a lot of mines.
Well, it doesn't help when you go last in turn order.
I know, consistently.
Should have gone ships. Yeah. Also, many apologies to everybody who was playing BGA and playing Castles of Burgundy with us. I absolutely did not take my turns for 5 days. Many apologies, but I love BGA Castles of Burgundy. It's one of my favorites. But we did get into another old favorite to close out our Wednesday night because it was, it's pretty late when we get in. But we got to the table Brass Birmingham.
Much to Becky's, what's the term? Chagrin? What is it?
Yes.
I don't know how Becky feels about
I
this game
you
anymore.
didn't like
Whoa,
it?
I don't feel like I felt that way. It was nice to play it at the coast all together, but I definitely have been struggling lately in that every time we decide to play Brass, I'm like, I'm going to lose this game. And not in a way where I feel like it's a challenge to maybe not lose, but I don't know. I don't know if something broke in my brain in Brass. Not that I was ever super great at it, but I just am awful.
I'm sorry. Is this your new viticulture? Because I cannot handle that.
No, Becky and I had a long conversation about this because I said Brass Birmingham is going to be the next viticulture for you. And she said, no, it's different. I feel hopeful that I'm going to beat you. And then you crush me at the very end. Viticulture, so.
It's true. There's so much in viticulture, and it really has to do. There's a really intense buildup of I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to beat Gillian. It's so close. And then he's like, I just got 20 points.
Yeah, the end game, man. It's all about the end game. That last turn needs to be critical. Anyway, back to Brass. Brass is interesting because I feel the same way you do in a way. Ever since Angela watched World Series of Board Gaming and learned the pro strategies, it's been very hard to win in Brass Birmingham.
The funny part is we've played it a bunch since then, and everybody can watch the video. It's just 4 dudes playing Brass, and I was like, oh, I should stop being stupid and cherish every turn, is what I learned from it. Because I think you get, what did we talk about? You get 19 turns. And then I went cotton, but Gillian went cotton this time around. And you have to be really hardcore. It's scary to go cotton.
I will say this game was very strange, I think, for all of us because all of our hands were such a mishmash of cards that it was hard to form a strategy. I went cotton, But I did not draw any of the cards I needed to go full cotton like I wanted to. So it was just a bad luck of the draw.
Yeah, you had good board setup to go cotton. In fact, I was going to go cotton, but you beat me to it. So I was like, well, I won't. And I also had a bad hand. Becky once went cotton just, a few weeks ago. And I was like, this board does not speak cotton. You should not go cotton. And you're like, but what if I did?
No, you didn't tell me not to go cotton. You kept that in the inside.
I mean, that's your own strategy. If you decide to go cotton, I was like, with this board, really, Becky?
I feel like someone has to go cotton to try and fight you with cotton.
No,
but then you just don't go cotton and you still win.
Well, you can do Reed's strategy of Reed does rails.
But Reed always does rails. So it's like if you join rails, then you're just guaranteeing your victory.
I will say our play of brass has really upped. Like, I think we know the best rail placements on the board. So I think there is very much a race to get those Atuxeter rails. I think people think about, what I love about brass is turn order. So I'm thinking about where I go in turn order about midway through the first round. Like, what are actually the next 4 plays I can do? And then really important, what's the third to last play of the round, second to last play of the round. Those are my 2 most important rounds so that I can try and get those really lucrative rail spots, even if I'm going cotton.
Boo.
Wow.
No,
we don't boo anymore, Becky.
Oh my gosh, that's
We boo
not
you,
true.
boo.
Oh, no.
Yeah. No, but you're a really great brass player.
Not really. You have friends that have won brass championships. I'm just a dork on the internet.
That is true. Which, by the way, if anyone wants to go traveling on an adventure where I hear a Brass Birmingham champion will be at, there is a board game con in Bozeman, Montana at Rook's Comics and Games happening in May.
Wow, all you have to do is go to Montana? Is it just moose that you play with?
That's rude.
Probably people.
I think that's Canada.
Whoa. Is Montana not in Canada? I don't understand geography.
Close enough.
There you go. Well, we rocked into our Thursday morning with a French toast casserole that I was kind of mid on. I have some thoughts around more brown sugar being added. But then we rocked out the first new game of the weekend, which was Goblin Vaults.
So Goblin Vaults was one of the 2 games this weekend that we played for the first time. And I, after gifting the game to somebody, had to remove from shrink wrap. It was Goblin Vaults, and it was, I think, one of Reed's games. I don't remember which. 10B. I had, Becky and I gifted Goblin Vaults to Angela a while back, and then we gifted 10B to Reed for her birthday. And this weekend, I had to remove them from shrink wrap and sort the cards and punch them. It was almost as if they were my games.
Angela and I have gone on record saying that we tend to not open them until we're getting ready to play them. So
Yeah, it's
But then you
delayed gratification.
But then you complain because you have to punch stuff, and you're like, oh, I should have done this ahead of time.
I mean, I'm never going to learn from the errors of my ways.
Yeah, I definitely don't. Reed did open Shackleton Base, hand me the rules a few weeks before, and then I was like, I think we have to punch this now. And it was so much punching.
Oh, yeah, you punched that
We
weekend,
did.
too,
Yeah.
on the beach.
That was a
Yeah.
rough punch, too.
Yeah, we'll get to that one.
Okay.
Goblin Vaults I enjoyed because you also did the rules teach. So I hadn't planned on bringing Goblin Vaults because I didn't want to learn the rules. I was already doing Shackleton Base. And then night before, Gillian's like, bring Goblin Vaults. And I was like, all right, but I ain't reading jack for it.
That was another game that Becky was like, tell her to bring Goblin Vaults.
Man, the puppet master in the corner just demanding.
Who doesn't want to learn any rules herself, so.
I was looking at my notes from Goblin Vaults, and I think we do need to give it to Becky because she made some sort of determination, and she said, as a certified goblin, ... So it was very appropriate that we brought this game.
Then
to
you
play
kept
it.
saying these pictures on the Goblin cards look like Becky.
I said
Wow.
one.
No,
looked
later
like
on you're like,
Becky.
all of them kind of look like you.
That's kind
Okay,
of true.
it is true. Also, the person who goes first is the person who most looks like a
No,
goblin.
who is most goblin-like. Is what it
Okay.
says.
And so obviously Gillian said it was me, but he said it in a rude way, if I remember
No,
correctly.
I just said
No,
we
hold
all
on.
agree that Becky's the most goblin-like, right?
But then-
And everyone was like, yes, a resounding yes.
But apparently it was rude. I thought it was ruder in the rule books, looks like a goblin.
No,
and
it
you had
didn't. It was
softened
definitely not looks like
Okay,
a goblin.
all
Who's
right.
most like a goblin?
Well, anyways, as a certified goblin who does not look like a goblin most days,
Unless Reed has a say.
this game really needs metal gears. The whole point of the game is to collect gears because you're a goblin. And
In jail. You're in jail. A goblin in jail.
yeah, and it's just, they're like really boring cardboard. Like, why do I want to collect these? I do not care. They need to be metal and fun to touch.
That's her goblin speaking.
Reed is glaring
I
at
am
me.
glaring at you because I think that this game is the absolute most delightful tableau builder, and I loved it. And here you are criticizing the lack of gold
Yes.
metal goblin
It
gears.
doesn't have to be
Yeah,
gold.
that's what a goblin would say.
They could look greasy and dirty. I don't care, but they should be like metal or fun to touch. Why did I didn't even
I mean,
want to
that's a
touch
very goblin-like comment, Becky.
It's called Goblin Vaults. It makes sense.
I don't usually have to break you two up. I liked this game a lot. It's from the designers of Stone Spine Architects, and it makes me actually rethink Stone Spine Architects, mostly because Stone Spine Architects, which is also a tableau builder, where you're building out your labyrinth. I like the idea.
As Stone Spire Architects.
Yes. I love it. Well, you're a student of said thing, which I appreciate. I was like, your class project is this. Anyway, the thing is that has just much more setup than anything else. And Goblin Vaults is very easy to set up, but you're kind of bidding in a way.
Yeah. So in Goblin Vaults, you are essentially one of the goblins in this prison trying to get the most gears in your vault. So be the most lucrative goblin that you can be in prison, that is. And and so it's an interesting game because you have a hand of cards that almost mimic kind of a trick-taking game where you have suits of cards, numbers on those suits, and you are bidding for different cards in this tableau in front of you. And it's all determined, like there's a trump suit that you have to play around as well, and you can bid such that you underbid, and so you're not going to get the card that you're bidding for because you have the lower card. You know you have the lower card. And instead, you're going to take the card that you bid with into your tableau, all the while trying to get more points or get more gears by matching these goals that you're aiming for. Be it like have a certain number of blue cards in your tableau, have a certain number of the black cards is the highest numbered cards in each column of your vault. And so your vault consists of different columns and rows, and the cards themselves score higher depending on where they're at in the column, in particular, be it 1, 2, or 3 spaces. And yeah, it's just funny bidding game.
Yeah. But if you don't go first and you go second, if you don't beat the bid, then you actually have to pay a penalty for it. And I liked that little extra dynamic of like, maybe I don't want this card, but I also don't want to pay the penalty. So maybe somebody will come and outbid me. And so just very quick, bid, card, tableau. And I don't know. I like the world. It's called something, the Role Player.
Yeah, the Role Player. I don't know the universe they call it, but it's all of Thunderworks games are set in that same universe, like Role Player, Stone Spire Architects, Goblin Vaults, and I think there's one other game.
Yeah, there's one other.
Cartographers?
There you go.
Yeah, I really like that game a lot.
As a tableau builder, as I said before, I thought it was great. I think that it had so much less fiddly rules, so many fewer fiddly rules than Stone Spine Architects, and just enough strategy to keep you engaged. And it is something that I would love to play again and again.
Well, I really liked this game too, but there was a second thing that really ground my gears.
Oh my God. Boo.
Her cardboard gears.
Yeah. Gosh, that just upset me. I like when cards have multiple purposes, but these cards, there were 3 different types of information on the top: the number, the suit, and then where it wanted to be in the tableau, either the top, middle, or bottom. And it just was really hard to see when you were holding all the cards in your hand. It was perfect for when it was on the table out in front of you, but the cards just kind of hid information that was important.
Yeah, and it wasn't just number, suit, and where it wants to be in there. There was a second suit that matched the color of player that you are. So you wanted to collect your color as well in the Goblin Vaults. So even more information.
Yeah, that was good information because that was the one I struggled the most with because I think it's like underneath the first suit. And so I never remembered to try and get my own.
What Becky's saying is 4 pieces of information is too much for her goblin brain.
Well, maybe if the gears had been better, then I would have paid attention better.
Or you could goblin collect the information.
We'll move from one dungeon to the next. There was an interesting moment where we were putting away Goblin Vaults and kind of how we decide what to play. We don't get into fights about anything. We all just kind of look at each other and go, well, what do you want to play? And we were trying to decide still. It's like the first real day. And I think this was one of Reed's favorite moments is we're like looking at this huge wall of games that we've brought. And Gillian goes, let's play Clank Catacombs. And I think Reed's head exploded in surprise and shock from that.
I love Clank. We had to have a Paul Denon moment in the weekend, and I am so glad that we played Clank. And the most noteworthy part of this game for me is that after the game, Gillian says, recount your points, because he ended up beating me on a tiebreaker. And it was very frustrating.
Your favorite part was losing?
My most notable part.
Was
Did I say
losing?
favorite?
I don't know.
I meant notable.
The
No,
most
it
notable
wasn't.
one.
It was the hope of winning.
Oh, see, like viticulture.
Wow. It's because Reed was winning by like 2 points, and then Gillian was like, I demand a recount.
Well, no.
He counted his own
No,
points
I was-
suspiciously.
I was
and
in
came out with
the I was in the
win.
process of counting my points, and I was like, "This is going to be close." Recount your points as I was finishing my tally.
And then Gillian turned his head slightly to the right and saw like 4 coins he'd left on the other side of his board and said, oh,
I will say, okay, so to frame that, this was my first time playing with the Underworld expansion. And so there are, what is it, the fairy coins for
Underworld
like Underworld coins, the river Styx. And I didn't realize those counted as just normal coins, so that's what I missed, is I had some of those.
yeah, I liked the play. This is, again, your first time playing the expansion. We took out the
Layers.
layers and monsters cards out of this one. From our talk at Paul Denon, I felt less guilt about doing so. And so we only played with Underworld, which is an interesting expansion to introduce someone to if you're going to do either one of them, because it has a whole new area and the Underworld coins are a bit of a feat to get. It does make the board really, really big. Like the game is already big, but then you add this extra area that you're going down to. And it really made me realize I love this game. I think this is a top 5 or 10 game for me. And setup is a beezy. Setup is so much. There's so much stuff to do. Yeah, it's a lot.
You finally encountered the issue with having multiple expansions in this single core box.
Hey, Reed's suggestion to put Post-its to separate out each different section of the expansions was phenomenal. I was like, oh, this is so much easier.
With this being the first play of the Underworld expansion for me, I immediately tried to run to the Underworld to score the most points. And so I just bolted, and as soon as I found a ladder to the Underworld, I took it and grabbed treasure and then started to leave. And spoiler alert, we ended up playing this game 2 other times throughout the weekend, and so with the Underworld expansion in particular. And I think this was the only game where multiple people actually went into the Underworld. It was this first game we played, which I think just says how I guess our play style is generally, in that we favor rapid discovery, pilfering, and evacuation of the dungeon.
I mean,
And so we don't go to the Underworld very much.
somebody ran after taking the 5. Who took the 5 artifact and then booked
Okay,
it?
depends on which game you're talking about,
Oh,
because
that's
all of us
true.
did that.
Not
No,
I.
okay,
Not I.
yeah.
I was
okay.
like,
well,
I'm
Reed
just
and
here
I
for a
are
good
guilty.
time.
I wasn't the first game. Reed was the first game.
I was surprised at how early you all ended up taking artifacts, but then you took your time getting other points. Like when I take an artifact early, then I'm like, I'm leaving now. And you guys are like, well, let's all just keep getting points, which is smart because that's how you win.
I just feel like my play of Clank is colored by Acquisitions Incorporated, and when Angela just teleported and stole the artifact from Reed, like right before Reed was going to grab it.
That was a really good artifact, though. It wasn't a trash early one.
But I'm just saying, like, you never know what's going to happen. If I didn't do it, somebody else would have done it. So I might as well be the one to try to run out of the dungeon as fast as possible.
Well, you never know when the tile's going to turn 180
Exactly.
degrees, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, now I'm screwed.
Now I'm irritated about that.
So while making dinner, I think at this point, or for some reason, maybe somebody was taking a shower, Reed and Gillian got a game of sea salt and paper in. How was that for you guys?
Well, a couple of games of sea salt and
Oh.
paper. And this is once again a game that I don't play very much. It's on Board Game Arena, but I don't play it very much in person. And it's well established in our game group that Reed is a shark, pun intended. And
That was a good one.
oh my god. But yeah, so it was funny. Reed said, "Lo, do you want to play sea salt and paper?" And I was like, "Sure, I guess we can try it." Because I hadn't played with the more pepper expansion very much, just once, and so I wasn't sure what it did. And I then got curb stomped 2 games in a row by Reed. I didn't even stand a chance.
No, Reed learned to play from French people, and those French people have instructed Reed how to be. This is like the French people are to you what the World Series of board gaming was to me. So you can't play with Reed.
I usually choke in my last couple of hands. So if you can get within like touching distance or, whatever distance close to winning, I usually do falter, especially to Becky at the end. But I just kept going in this game. So
She was like, "I'm against Gillian. I'm not giving him a chance."
Gillian,
Crush him.
I don't usually win games against you. So if I can win sea salt and paper versus really anything else.
Just what struck me is I think it was the second game we played. You took like 5 consecutive actions because you were able to chain cards in your hand like 5 times in a row in one turn. And I was just decimated at that point. I was like, my God.
Too powerful. She's become too powerful. When you sat down to play that, I was like, that's not going to go well for you.
Well, it ended up just training him on how to play the game even better. So yeah, he got his revenge.
Well,
later.
he'll forget how to play by the time the
pretty
next
much.
coast comes.
I know how to play the base game, not the expansion content.
Yeah, that expansion, I like it. I can play it either way, I think, is what I've learned. Well, we broke open a new game, Botswana, which may or may not have the best components that Becky's like, don't talk about it. I want to save this. I love it.
Okay, well, I did want to save it for a joy game, but I don't have to.
I will also say this is the one I chose and nobody knew about. And I was just like, I'm going to bring it and we're going to play it.
The meeples in this game are amazing. I don't know if that's what we want to call them, but they're big, they're chunky. They're so much better than cardboard gears.
The Animeeples.
The Animeeples.
The colors and the silk screening, the giraffes are the best component I've ever seen in a game. Hot take. They were the best.
And the game overhead is very easy. Like I think that's what I liked a lot about this game is there's suits or there's cards 0 to 5 for each of these animals, and all you do is you play a card and then you take an animal, and you don't have to take the animal for the card that you played. So you play a lion, you can get a meerkat. But what's fun is that whatever is the last card on that stack when the round ends is the point value for that animal. So if I took a meerkat and it ended as a 4, then each meerkat's 4 points. And the round ends when somebody has played all of one animal out. And so it was a really fun dynamic of holding the 0s and the 5s for certain animals, but then being like, why is Gillian taking so many giraffes? I should start taking giraffes. And then, but Reed's taking elephants. I need to take more elephants. And so then you're diversifying, which was a bad idea because then Meerkat scored 10 million points. And then everybody's like, that hippo is stupid, but all you have is hippos and you score 0 points and you're sitting in the corner crying. Anyway, that's the rules teach for that game.
Yeah, it was really straightforward. It's been around for a long time, and it's the most recent edition that they came out with. Has just outstanding art and components. It's a fairly small box game, too. It's designed by Reiner Knizia. And yeah, I love it. It was so fun, so simple, so straightforward.
It's so juicy. Like the decision. I sat with so many 0s in my hand that I waited way too long to play, and there were multiple hands where I didn't get them played because I was waiting too long because I was like, I want you all to suffer. Your hippos will be no points, nor will your lions. And then it didn't work out.
It is funny. It is a mean game because I was just like, okay, what's the most strategic time to play this 0 at the end to take all the points from you all? But then Gillian had this other strategy, which was like play your 0 early so that you know that no matter what, these cards are going to score. And it was fascinating.
That was really interesting, the game he did that, and it reminded me of the way you play Bottle Imp sometimes when you're like, I'm going to be really risky and see what happens.
I'm going to play my 5 first thing and have the bottle most of the game, and then...
Yeah. So, so good.
Yeah, we got that one played a few times because it was so quick and so easy. Again, vying for best components. I think everybody would agree maybe they're the best components. I still think those Clank cubes are pretty bomb.com. But
Yeah,
such a good game.
those Clank cubes on their own cost more than this game. So
That's probably 2 of those games put together, let me tell you. We made it to the pinnacle game before we sat down and ate some pot roast, which was Shackleton Base, which we will do a much deeper dive on this in our next episode. But Shackleton Base was the game that I ended up learning. The rulebook was really great. I appreciated it a lot. And we got to be colonizers on the moon, shilling for capitalism. What you guys think of this big box game that at one point all of us own?
That point is now, Angela.
That point is now. Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one. It's funny because Shackleton Base got a lot of buzz at the end of 2024 when it was first released overseas. And everyone was talking about it at that point. And I really wanted to play it. And then in the States, it didn't get to our shores until kind of mid-2025. And at that point, we convinced Reed to buy it after Angela already bought it and forgot about it. And I wasn't sure going into it if I was going to love it as much as I ended up loving it just because of all the buzz. I thought it might have been overhyped. And I would say like it looks much better in person than I think the pictures make it seem. It looked a lot more drab online, just color-wise. But I really enjoyed this game. It is my style of worker placement. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you bought it at the table.
Yeah, after we were done with the game, I was like, actually, I think it was towards the end of the game. I was like, I really like this. I'm going to buy it.
I have 2 notes that I wrote down about this game. 1, I love the chunky tokens, and Goblin Vaults would have been much better if the gears were at least chunky.
Okay, everything comes back to those gears, Becky.
My other note is that Reed got our battery token taken away. Do you want to explain that, Reed?
She can't because she's died laughing. Is this where we insert the boo? Because you got your token taken away?
Yes.
Sorry, I was not prepared for that, even though we talked about it. This game was really interesting for me. For a really ridiculous reason, and that yellow was not an option for a player color because it was one of the colors of the worker placement people that you had. And so I played green, and within the green package was this super cute special little orange battery. And it was so cute. And I was looking at it, and then I showed Becky. And Becky immediately took it and put it next to her board, taking my battery like the goblin that she is. And then Angela looks at this, and she's like, what is that? Why do you guys have that? I need that. And then she took the battery, and then neither of us had the battery. And then it was just horrible. And then Becky was like, you got our battery taken away.
It was literally the component that tracks energy usage in the game. And they're like, la, 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 we play with the battery, la, la, la. I was like, no, it's actually an essential component. Stop touching it.
You were using something else. It was fine.
It was the wrong battery pack. And I was like, oh, I need to put this battery pack around the moon. Okay, so there's like 15 of those. There's only one special energy tracker.
Yeah, there are 15 solar panels. There's only one battery token.
Yeah. So you 2 dorks were in the corner just like, see what happens? Mom took our battery away.
It's so true. It's so cute.
I mean, I did check before we leave to make sure Becky didn't steal it. No, I didn't. But I thought about it.
Now I'm going to have my own.
We'll talk more about Shackleton Base, but suffice it to say, no spoilers, but spoilers, is I really liked this game a lot. I felt really bad because as I do, I buy lots of things that I forget that I buy and then I rebuy them, like video games, board games, my life, books. And in this instance, I bought Shackleton Base, forgot that I bought Shackleton Base because I hide presents in a closet. And then we bullied Reed into it, and it was very funny because Shackleton Base was a person and Gillian wasn't hanging out with us. So then Shackleton Base came on an adventure, and we just kept sending pictures to Gillian of Shackleton Base where more and more came into view, and he never noticed. And then Gillian's birthday came up, and he had kind of poo-pooed it. And he was like, well, I don't know that I want to buy that game, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, my God, I've made a terrible mistake.
Well, at that point, Reed had already bought it.
Yeah. And I was like, we don't need 2 copies of this. So
we need 3 copies.
Yeah.
That's what
so now we have 3. We went from 1 to 2 to 3 to maybe 2, if I can ever sell that game. We'll see. But punching it was a lot. But the rulebook was really great. And we will talk more about that one in our next podcast. Hey, editor Angela here, just popping in to say this episode ran really long, and so we're going to break it up into 2 parts. I know that's really disappointing, and certainly we didn't record it to be that long, but we was a goofing and a gabbing, so to hear the rest of the coast trip, pop on to the next episode, and then following that, Shackleton Base. Just wanted to say much love and appreciation. You can follow us on Board Game Homies, on Board Game Geek, on Instagram, do all of the things, and see you on the next one where we figure out whether or not one of the homies drowns in the ocean, I would say.
Maybe don't say drown in the ocean. That's a little sad.
Yeah, it is a little sad.
That's a little sad.
Wow. Where you can find out which of the homies had to pull over at a truck stop to use a porta potty.
I didn't know. I see.
Yeah.
No, you're leading into the second half. Okay, enough food talk.
I feel
More
like
board game
maybe
talk.
you have some thoughts.